Finally, the real estate market is beginning to see some normal behavior. Across the US, the housing market has been pretty crazy for a while now. But with sellers beginning to gain confidence in selling their home, the real estate market is seeing some changes. Here in Atlanta, real estate prices have always been lower than other major metropolitan cities. So how has all this craziness affected us here in Atlanta? That's what we're talking about in this Atlanta real estate market update for 2021. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in Georgia, and I put out weekly videos all about what it's like to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrounding cities. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta or just want to know what it's like to live here, feel free to call or text me anytime. I'm more than happy to help. I'm so thankful for all of you who have reached out to me asking me about moving to Atlanta. My favorite thing to do in the world is help people get acquainted with Atlanta, Georgia. Right now, let's talk about what the real estate market looks like in Atlanta, Georgia. One big factor that can affect any real estate market is interest rates. When interest rates are low, more people can afford to buy a home, making housing demand high. And when interest rates are high, less people can afford to buy a home, which creates less demand in the housing market. At the time of filming this video in the beginning of October, interest rates were at about 3 to 3.1, but are they going up or are they going down? According to the website Mortgage News Daily, a year ago today, rates were at around 3%. So we haven't changed much in the last year, but it's important to remember that that 3% rate hasn't always been the norm. 5 years ago, rates were closer to 4% and even reaching 5% in January of 2019. Also keep in mind that interest rates 20 to 30 years ago used to be super high, like 10, 11, 12% sometimes for a mortgage. So hovering around 3% is really a great deal for any real estate market. So the big question is, how does all of this interest rate stuff affect the housing market here in Atlanta? And we'll go over in a minute how the housing market looks here in Atlanta, but I think we all need to really remember that Atlanta, for a major metropolitan city, is really still catching up to some of these other major cities in the United States in terms of home values. Home prices in cities like New York or LA, Dallas, Denver are really much higher than home prices here in Atlanta. And so while we in Atlanta often tend to talk about how the home prices keep going up and wondering if they're going to take a dive, I think we really need to remember that we're just catching up to some of the other major cities in the United States. So our home values in Atlanta are much lower than those other cities, but I wouldn't doubt it if we are approaching those other cities within the next 10 years. Currently, we have about 1,000 homes for sale in Atlanta with an average of about $465,000 for a home. Now, this is just in the city of Atlanta. If we include the other cities around Atlanta, we're talking about a lot more homes for sale in this area. And then also that 465 number is, again, just the average. There's certainly a range. There are homes for sale in Atlanta and around Atlanta in the low 300s and then obviously up into the millions. So 465 is kind of the average for the city of Atlanta. Let's take a look at how Atlanta real estate is doing this year in 2021 compared to last year. In all of 2020, there were about 7,400 homes sold with an average price of about $473,000. This year so far, we've had 5,900 homes sold with an average of $421,000. So compared to this time last year, prices seem to be going down a little bit compared to last year. The real estate market in 2020 was certainly a crazy time, lots of people wanting to buy, and then sellers were a little fearful of selling, not sure about what the future held. But what it looks like now is that more people are getting confident in selling their home and in their ability to buy another home. And so there are more homes for sale now, which is leading to more homes being sold. This also leads to home values going down a little bit. Now, has the average home value gone down about $50,000? I don't think so. I think what we're seeing is a lot more homes in the lower price ranges being sold, which is bringing down the average. But I think home values are going down a small amount, not quite 50,000 in 1 year though. Also, let's keep in mind that the slow time for real estate really is like the fall and the winter time. And so as we approach these seasons, we're going to see some home values going down a little bit, and we'll also see less homes being sold. Once the spring hits of 2022, we'll kind of see a resurgence in home values and more homes being sold. Also, we'll most likely see more people being able to buy homes during that time as well. So overall, I think that the real estate market really is doing a lot of stabilizing here in 2021, especially considering the absolutely crazy year that we had in 2020. Thankfully, finally, the real estate market is calming down. I think more people are able to buy a home, which is great. So I think if you're a homeowner in Atlanta, you really need to balance those two things. Like, home values are going up because we're catching up to some of the other major cities in Atlanta, but also temporarily home values might see a decrease as more people are willing to sell their home. As a home buyer in Atlanta, it's important to remember that right now we have more housing demand than maybe ever before. This is leading to lots of multiple offer situations, buyers offering above asking price. And this may still continue for the foreseeable future, but it's not going to be quite as bad as the craziness of 2020. To know more about how much it costs to live in Atlanta, be sure to check out this video here where I talk specifically about the cost of living in Atlanta, Georgia. See y'all in the next video.